Let's get over to the kitchen now and check in with ABC7 Culinary Director Judi Gallagher for the first time. Hi, Judi.
Hi, Scott. Well, I figure with this heat and humidity, I'm just going to celebrate New England summers because this is a traditional meal that we had probably every week. And thanks to my son, Eric Williams, a chef, who said, Mom, it's time for you to take out that clam recipe with chorizo or pancetta, where you steam the corn and the potatoes right in there with a good IPA beer. And that's what we're going to do today. And we're going to make some blue cheese garlic bread to dip in there and just enjoy all the goodness. So stay with me throughout the hour. We're cooking up a New England clam bake. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I've rinsed my clams off really well. Now, whenever you pick up clams, if they feel like they're extra sandy, you can put them in very cold water with half a cup of cornmeal. And what happens is the clams actually ingest the cornmeal and they burp out the sand. But rinsing them really well is going to help as well. Never leave them in plastic if you're using them later in the day or at night. Make sure the netting is free right on the shelf with a little crushed ice in your refrigerator. So I have browned some pancetta. You can also use diced chorizo, and it now comes in small packs of already diced at the fresh market. So that's going to make it really good. I left a few pieces in there because we want to bring out the extra flavor. Now I'm going to add some leeks. Traditionally, I'll just use onions and water and steam those clams away. But I'm bringing this up to a Suncoast level now, so we're gonna really get this flavor. We have a little fat from the pancetta on the bottom, so that's gonna really help with the flavor. We're gonna let this saute probably for about, 4 minutes. You don't wanna brown the onions and leeks, but you definitely wanna get them a little translucent. Start to get them tender, then we'll add some cut red potatoes. This makes it more of an entree. Let's talk about the bread. Fresh baguette from this morning. Then I'm gonna take some sliced garlic, fresh garlic, and I'm gonna just kind of gently mix it in and spread it on the bread. I cut the bread down in half and then I just cut them in quarter loaves because you want this dish you want to look rustic. So you just want to give everybody a nice long piece of the crusty bread, right? With the garlic. So we're going to stick this in the oven and start to brown this up. Just a hint of salt will go on it as well. Still plenty of garlic to go here. And then later on when we come back, I'm gonna sprinkle some blue cheese, and that's gonna just bring that level up just a little bit. So a little salt, always using really like either an Irish butter or a French butter, grass-fed butter. It's gonna give the flavor so much more. So once this sautés some more, we can go ahead and start to layer our potatoes. The potatoes need to cook probably about 8 minutes before we add the clams. So when you come back, it's time for the clams, some IPA, and a few more cooking tips for your next clam bake. Okay, we're ready for the clams. I have, as you can see in the pot, the potatoes have started to cook well. So now it's going to be really fun. We're going to take these clams, like I said, I've rinsed them twice in cold water, and they weren't that sandy, which is good. So I didn't need to do the process of the cornmeal. Pick these right up at the seafood counter at Fresh Market. I also noticed Detweiler's has them. Always make sure you're looking for fresh, you want to know where the clams are from, fresh clams, and if there's any type of odor other than salt water, that's not the clam for you. So now let's do layers of flavor. We're going to take a nice IPA, pour about 3/4 of a bottle right in there. Now we're going to get some fennel, and we're using the top part of the fennel fond. So what I did is I saved the bulb of the fennel. That'll be for a great orange fennel salad maybe tomorrow. Now I'm going to take the corn on the cob, and of course if you've ever been to a true New England clam bake, you got the lobsters in there and then they cover it with seaweed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add just a little bit of water, and when you add the water, what's going to happen is that's going to just steam into this beautiful broth. We're going to cover it now. We're going to steam them. It's going to take, hard to tell, about 6 to 7 minutes for the clams to open. We'll keep an eye out. In the meantime, I've taken the bread out of the oven, and that's brushed with that beautiful French butter and garlic, and you can see those pieces of garlic. You want them kind of chunky. I threw in the equivalent about a 1 bulb of garlic in the pot with the clams as well, because I love garlic. Okay, this is going to go back into the oven just to let that blue cheese bubble up. Some recipes you'll notice, especially from gastropubs, will actually top mussels or clams with blue cheese. I tend not to really like any type of cheese with any type of seafood or fish. So I'm going to just leave that on the side. So I'm going to check the heat on this. It's on high, so that's good. It's going to take a minute with the water to really start getting it to steam, but we are just about ready. Now, I haven't forgotten about our pancetta. I put it over here in a separate pan, and I'm going to add that as a garnish in the very end with a little fresh parsley, and then we're going to be ready to go. This dish is so delicious and rich. All you have to do is serve some of the liquid from the pot to rinse off your clams, which I'll show you when we feed John Scalzi lunch. But you're not going to need butter. It's just basted in goodness. I'll be back in a few minutes for the taste.
You know what I like to do is I like to sop up the juice.
You have to.
With good toasty bread.
I will just drink that. So you have that beer flavor and the pancetta, some scallions, leeks, clams,
And the corn
potatoes.
is so good too, right? At this time
Yeah,
of year?
it's just started. Scott and I were just talking about that. It's just starting to come in. My favorite time is the beginning of July for corn on the cob. And you start getting that really good sweet corn from New England. And John, all you need to do is give you some blueberry ice cream for dessert, and you're
That sounds like the deal right there. Remind everybody that the recipe is on our website.
On www.mysuncoast.com. Click on the dining page and don't forget to enter, win a gift card for $50 towards dining at one of our local restaurants. We'll
very
send
tasty.
it back to you, Scott, and we'll send you save you a few clams and corn.